To close out the Ultimate Cup Series first day back racing at the Circuit Mugello in Florence, we have Trofeo GTS action to round out the day. The first of 4 25-minute races throughout the weekend. We have 3 tomorrow, 1 coming up shortly, and it will be Francesco Azzori who lines up on pole position for this opening encounter for Trofeo GTS. A great mixture of different GT machinery, including the return of the Renault RS01 car that we haven't seen out for a very long time. It is Charles-Henri Simani sharing the car with Emmanuel Collard, who will be racing in that car tomorrow. Of course, we have the various Ferrari 488 Challenge and Porsche Cup machinery as well in the various classes, and the UCS 4 Category 4 GT4 machinery as well. But there's a great look at this fantastic Mugello circuit that has been bathed in sunlight throughout this wonderful day of racing. As I said, the Ultimate Cup Series first day back competing at Mugello since 2019. And this should be a very interesting encounter indeed, with 2 of our GT3 specification cars, the UCS 1 category, the Ferrari 488 Challenge on the left-hand side as we're looking at it, and the Renault RS01. So it will be the 4.8-litre V8 in the Ferrari going up against the Nismo Gibson collaboratively designed 3.8-litre twin-turbo V6 in the Renault. If you're unfamiliar with the RS01, it's a cracking bit of kit, originally designed for a one-make Renault Sport Trophy series, but later homologated to GT3 specification with a bit of ballast and a slightly detuned engine. The raw performance is quite a bit quicker than a GT3 car, but a bit less than old Class 1 DTM machinery. As the cars are making their way over to the pre-grid. And it is the 5.245 kilometre circuit that we will be racing on. A beautiful sun-bathed afternoon in Florence. Of course, we have the Chevrolet Corvette out in force as well. That's starting on the second row of the grid with Olivier Morahan. The 1 minute board gets displayed. You can hear the klaxon in the background. That is the sign to clear the grid of any extraneous people. So the safety car just leaves the grid. There is a look at the UCS 3 pole sitter, Lyle Schofield, who has taken an overall victory in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup, which was out in Hockenheim. But the last time we saw Trofeo GTS out, the wins were shared between Francesco Azzori, Alfredo Hernandez and Alexis Berthe, the latter not with us this weekend, and Alfredo Hernandez, the Mexican, having to go from the back of the grid. You can just see a glimpse of that gold Lamborghini Super Trofeo right at the back of the grid there after crashing the car early on in Q1, which means he starts at the back of the grid for all 4 races this weekend. Green flag is waving. We have the formation lap. That puff of smoke from the rear Goodyear tyres of the Ferrari. So it is Francesco Azzori, the Italian, racing for the Italian SR&R team above the Ferrari 488 Challenge, that will start from pole position with Charles-Henri Simani in the Racetivity run Renault RS01, showing the front row of the grid with him. Then the UCS 3 pole sitter Lyle Schofield. You can see the rest of the grid with Olivier Morahan in the JRM Racing Corvette on the second row of the grid. Then Francesco Coassin, the third of the SR&R cars, starting in 5th position. Then Carl van der Westen, who is the Porsche Cup pole sitter for 2B Autosport, lining up 6th on the grid. Frédéric Lacour in the Racing Spirit of Le Mans. Ferrari 488 Challenge starts from 7th with Eric de Bard in the number 81 Racetivity Porsche 992 Cup car, starting in 8th position. Then comes Patrick Michelier in the number 73 CMR Run Ferrari 488 Challenge in 9th, and then Lionel Rigal in 10th position overall for the GP Racing team in their Porsche. Then comes Jeremy Avellaneda in the 122 car. And then Hugh van der Westen, the father of the Carl and Cesar van der Westen brothers. Our UCS4 pole sitter, Andre Sefiritos, in the number 57, driving Porsche Cayman GT4 car, ahead of Pierre Aru in the 64 Herrera Racing Audi R8 GT4. And then Alfredo Hernandez in the BDR competition, Lamborghini Super Trofeo, having to line up for the back of the grid after crashing in qualifying. And there were dramas for Frederic Lacour in Q2 a little earlier on in the day as well, but that won't affect him until races 2 and 4, as the Q1 session sets the grid for races 1 and 3. The best time in Q1 setting the grid for this race, and the second fastest time setting the grid for race 3. Worth remembering as well that we won't see Francesco Azzori out in races 2 and 4, as his co-driver Aramis has pulled out of the meeting, whereas we will see the Renault in 3 of the 4 races with Emmanuel Collard doing the other races. And listen to the turbo spool there, I think it is. I think that's from the Renault. That's fantastic. Love hearing that. Worth keeping an eye on that UCS3 battle as well, which has been very intense in the races we've seen. And also keep an eye on the progress of Alfredo Hernandez. He probably has the fastest car in a straight line here this weekend, with all the V10 might of that Super Trofeo car, which is going to serve him very well on the front straight when the lights go out as the signal to get this race underway. 15 cars making up the Trofeo GTS grid for race 1, and it will be the white and red SR&R Ferrari on driver's right, going up against the Renault, a battle that we haven't seen for quite some time, but it'll be twin turbo V6 power against the V8 in the Ferrari as the drivers pull up towards the starting grid. Nice 2x2 formation going down the start and finish straight. We await for the lights to signal the start of the race. They do so now, and it is very even Stevens between Francesco Azzori and Charles-Henri Simani, but it is Azzori who's managed to get the jump, and indeed has Lyle Schofield, the extra grunt of that Ferrari 488 Challenge car, but Simani is braving it out around the outside. The Dallara built chassis doing very well around San Donato for the first time of asking, and the Frenchman does hang on to second place. It is Carl van der Westen who's been able to make up good progress, but the 122 car has found itself in strife, and that is Jeremy Avellaneda. So we do have yellow flags out at San Donato, and a safety car has now been called as well to extract that car from the gravel trap. Although it didn't look like Alfredo Hernandez was quite getting the message there, as it looked like he was going for an overtake, but hopefully just a little miscommunication there as the drivers slow up to safety car speeds. So great start from Francesco Azzori. The initial getaway looked very even between himself and Simani. But the Renault maybe just lacking a little bit on that top-end speed compared to the Ferrari, especially because the 488 Challenge car of Lyle Schofield did very much draw up alongside it. So we have our UCS3 and Porsche Cup class leaders line astern in 3rd and 4th overall. So there is a safety car waiting to pick up the train of cars. Marshals are on the scene at San Donato. There was a late entry for Jeremy Avellaneda to join the grid, and well, unfortunately, he hasn't made it past the first corner. So we see Olivier Morahan dropped 2 places, or dropped 1 place, I should say, with Carl van der Westen actually making up 2 places ahead of Francesco Coarsen in the 333 SR and R Ferrari and the Chevrolet Corvette from JRM Racing. So cracking stuff from Carl van der Westen, a Roscar Series champion. So as they get across the timing line, I can confirm Francesco Azzori leads Charles-Henri Simani, Lyle Schofield and Carl van der Westen, with Olivier Morahan in 5th, then Francesco Coarsen in 6th, Frederic Lacour in 7th, Lionel Rigau, several cars between himself and Van der Westen, the car he's trying to chase for the Porsche Cup honours, but a few of his class rivals right behind him, Eric de Baard and Hugh van der Westen in the previous specification 991 Porsche. Patrick Michelier. Alfredo Hernandez managed to get past both the GT4 cars on that first lap. So Pierre Aru got the jump on Andrei Sefiritos. So pole went to the Porsche, but the lead now with the Audi. There it is again, that chirping noise, that must be the turbos from the that Nismo Gibson twin turbo V6. Great stuff to listen to. I never get tired. Like the previous generation BMW GT3 car used to make a similar noise. So we see it's Hernandez on the back of Patrick Michelier there for 11th position. And Hernandez, an overall race winner, as we mentioned, during the previous Trofeo GTS race in Portimao. But also competing in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup, the man who is second in the championship in the UCS2 category. It's Eric Mouet who is leading that. And actually, although he's on the entry list, not actually taking part this weekend. We didn't see him in qualifying. I'm not sure if there was any dramas yesterday that has since prevented that from happening. So shame not to have the GTX Ginetta with us, but in terms of keeping cars interesting, we have traded that for the Renault. We see the Porsche Cup battle. That was our pole sitter in the UCS4 category, but Andrei Sefiritos has lost out to Pierre Aru there on that first lap. Pierre Aru, the Herrera Racing driver, who is, you can always spot him with the Wile E. Coyote livery. But it looks like we're going to go for a safety car restart here as Francesco Azzori is backing the pack up. The reigning GT3B champion in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup and the championship leader in this year's GT Sprint Cup Championship. And wow, he has done a very good restart there indeed, as he caught Charles-Henri Samani napping there, frankly, in the Renault. And look at the gap he's got already. That is a huge advantage. He pulled 1.4 seconds before they even got to the timing line. And once again, Lyle Schofield has got an advantage in the power. And this time he gets cleared by the time they break for San Donato. Going to get it stopped just about. And Carl van der Westen trying to get up on the inside of the Frenchman as well. And has his nose chopped across there by the time they get into Luco and Poggio Secco for the second time at racing speed in this race. And here we see the advantages of that Delaret chassis that was so stiff in the hands of Emmanuel Collard in Q2 yesterday. It has the pace advantage over the Ferrari, but the Ferrari's got more grunt in a straight line. So let's see, they head down Casanova. Fantastic sequence of corners here that back in 2020 when Formula One came in was absolutely flat out through Cervelli and Arrabbiata 1 and Arrabbiata 2. See the Corvette of Olivier Morahan now on the back of Carl van der Westen. So he's dropped quite a bit of ground since Samani chopped across the front of the Porsche. And a look down the inside here. That's an unconventional place to make an overtake. Down into Scarperia. Fantastic move from Charles-Henri Samani. Emmanuel Collard will be very proud of that, as Lyle Schofield has to yield the place in the Irishman back down into third position. Flying through Bondietti. So the Renault, look how much gap that Samani's pulled in just a few corners. That is how much raw speed that car has had. He just couldn't use it, and needs to make sure he's got the gap because the Ferrari's quicker in a straight line. But somehow, I doubt Lyle Schofield is going to be able to usurp the Renault with that much advantage. And Azzori has absolutely blitzed it, 6.5 seconds clear. While Samani, 1.9 clear of Schofield, and he pulled that in just one sector. That's astonishing. So now we see Olivier Morahan trying to reclaim that 4th position that he lost to Carl van der Westen on the opening lap of the race. The GT3 Chevrolet Corvette going up against the Porsche 992 Cup car. Of course, Carl keeping one eye on his Porsche Cup rivals, but they're not even in his mirrors at the moment. Just see right at the top of the screen there's his nearest rival. It's Eric de Baard in the 8th position overall, so he can afford to lose a couple of positions here, and maybe try not to waste some time racing his rivals in different classes. But of course, drivers still want the overall honours. Back up Arrabbiata 2 here. Just a little dab on the brakes there for Van der Westen. We'll be sharing the car with not only his brother but also his father in Trofeo GTE on Sunday as well, in that 2B Autosport car. This is for 2nd position in UCS3, happening just behind them, between the SR&R car of Francesco Corissan and the Racing Spirit of Le Mans run car of Frédéric Lacour, happening right behind this battle for 4th position overall. You see Lacour, we had some problems in Q2 with a broken wheel rim that punctured his right rear tyre and rather prevented him from getting himself a good grid slot for races 2 and 4. But he's going to make good use of a decent grid spot for this race at least anyway, and he's right on the back of the second of the SR&R cars in UCS3 to try and take 2nd position in his category. Once again, we see the battle for 4th position closed up. The grunt of the Chevrolet should be doing Olivier Morahan plenty of favours. It does draw him close to the rear of Van der Westen's car, maybe braking a little bit too deep right round the outside of San Donato though, and Olivier Morahan doing a cracking job to get right round the outside. Now he's got the inside line for Luco as well. That was great stuff from the JRM Racing driver. So that is Morahan up into 4th position overall. Our UCS1 cars 1, 2 and 4 in the overall standings, and Lacour's gone through as well on Francesco Corissan. So the Frenchman moving up ahead of the Italian. And the Racing Spirit of Le Mans team manages to put one over on SR&R, and sadly in the pit lane has come Alfredo Hernandez. And it looks like after a very disappointing qualifying, this is just turning into a bit of a day to forget as the Mexican has pulled into pit lane. So it was a crash for Hernandez in qualifying a little bit earlier on today. He is out of the car. And that's day done. Unfortunately, for the team that synonymous with Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe. Of course, we saw Amory Bonduel racing for the team in GT Sprint Cup in Hockenheim. Probably one of the fastest drivers in Super Trofeo Europe at the moment, and then ended up making his GT3 debut with Team Oregon in GT Open just a few weeks ago. So there is Lyle Schofield, the 353 car, the black and white car. A lot more black on the SR&R cars this weekend. Slightly different look and feel to the team. Is also competing just down the road in Imola, I think it is, for the Italian GT. So I guess the question now is, can Olivier Morahan close in for the overall podium? Here's our race leader, by the way. He is still out there, just banging in purple sectors every once in a while. 10.7 seconds is Azzurri's advantage over Charles-Henri Simani. Yeah, put it on pole position for this race. And we haven't had the second fastest times through just yet to see whether he will start race 3 from pole as well. Those are the 2 races he will compete in this weekend. And in fact, in every race he's done so far with the Ultimate Cup Series this year, between GT Sprint Cup and Trofeo GTS, he's won all 4 of them. So this would be continuing the perfect record for Azzurri, man from Frosinone. as he makes his way down the front straight and back towards San Donato. You can see the gap that he's been able to build. So we're still waiting for Simani to come over the timing line. It's now 12 seconds, the Italians' advantage. A story I heard about Azzurri during the week actually was that when he got his first go-kart at 5, he actually wanted a mini bike. But I'm sure every parent who is concerned about their kid going karting is even more concerned about them going mini biking. And so the four-wheel journey began for Francesco Azzurri, and of course ended up on the single-seater ladder in Formula Predator, champion there in 2019 before making the switch to GTs last year with the SR&R team. They themselves made the switch to GTs from running Citroën and Abarth touring cars a few years ago, making a name for themselves in the Italian GT Championship. In fact, Manfredi Roberto, one of the co-owners of the Verona friends, him and Paolo Roberti, but Roberto is the only team principal to have been involved in Formula 1, LMP1 and DTM. Caterham and Bi-College, for anybody who's wondering. So Azzurri will tick off another lap. Just over 10 minutes left to go in this race. And Simani is, well, long in the distance. Now that looked like a warning flag. The warning flag is going out to car 91, which is Frédéric Lacour, second of the UCS3 runners. That is for track limits at turn 14, or Bondietti 2. Oh, hello, someone's had a bit of an answer. There's a bit of dust or gravel that's been on. I wonder if that's tyre smoke or gravel dust at Correnteo. Oh, clearly someone's had either a mild drama or an inconvenience. You see Azzurri's going to come up and lap some of the back markers pretty soon. Eric Debard now being warned for track limits at Bondietti 2. This is that battle for the last spot on the overall podium that we were talking about. It's now under a second. Look how much Olivier Morahan's closed up on this lap alone, though. It was 1 second when they went over the timing line. That Chevrolet Corvette pulling some grunt in the first sector, but he's also able to stick with the Irishman through the middle part of this lap so far. Lyle Schofield has won 4 times in UCS3 so far this year. The 20-year-old who also recently made the switch over from single-seaters. Young man who's Irish but lives in France, born in Monaco as well. International man of mystery. Also came over from the Formula Predator challenge. So we will see if the grunt of the Ferrari 488 challenge against the might of the Chevrolet Corvette is enough to keep Lyle Schofield on the overall podium. Still has the UCS3 class lead, of course. It's the Ferrari challengers behind him. He has got quite a significant advantage over his nearest title rivals, about 14 seconds actually over Frédéric Lacour, who's his nearest class rival. So 8 minutes left on the clock, and Olivier Morahan, remember he was battling the car that just popped up into the top of screen there was the Frenchman earlier in the race. That's how much gap he's been able to pull in that time. Wasn't quite close enough to do anything into San Donato. Just listen to the grunt of those V8 engines, that's absolutely wonderful. So into Materazzi and Borgo San Lorenzo, one of the many idyllic villages around this part of the world, as is Scarperia. Oh, now that is a big off for the Herrero Racing Audi that was in the lead of UCS4 earlier on. And we're going to see some damage to the right rear corner of Pierre Aru's car. There are yellow flags out at turn 10, which is the Scarperia corner, the right-hander that leads you to the end of the middle sector. Marshall's on the scene. And so it looks like some damage to the front end of that Audi as well. And the safety car has been deployed, so just under 7 minutes left on the clock, and we've got a safety car out. Now, I wonder if Aru there was also responsible for some of the dust we saw at Correnteo a little bit earlier on. Well, you see the safety car has caught the race leader, Francesco Azzori, and his 12-second advantage is eradicated, just like that, with only the one remaining UCS4 car separating himself and Charles-Henri Samani for overall position, that is. So Pierre Aru out of the car, and maybe surveying some of the damage there. So that is at the Scarperia corner. See, there's quite a bit of a gap. We have to wait and see how far Lyle Schofield is behind, because I think it was some 38 seconds when the safety car came out. So yeah, Charles-Henri Samani, he's left the left blinker on there, which is great if you're going through Lucco and Materazzi and Cervelli and whatnot, but not so great through the other corners. So we do have a turn 10 incident under investigation. I wonder if there was contact between the two UCS4 cars, Andre Sefiritos. One would assume they were battling for the win, but one would also assume that if that was the case, there'd be some battle scars on the left-hand side of the Porsche, which maybe if we get a look at it later, we'll be able to tell, or who knows, maybe it was with one of the leaders trying to come through and lap the Audi. So the Audi still remains there on the outside, just before the turn-in for Scarperia. And you see the dust that has been left onto the track. It's just been kicked up by the safety car there. So I do wonder if we are going to get any more green flag running in, unfortunately. Hopefully it won't be too long before that car is removed. Safety car boards very much illuminated around the Mugello circuit. Francesco Azzori there, keeping the warmth in the tyres. Wouldn't have thought that was going to be such a struggle today. It has been a rather beautiful day here in Mugello. Oh, there it is again. That chirp. It's just a great noise to have. So Eric Depard there in 81, second of the Porsche Cup runners. He is a Porsche Carrera Cup France racer. We'll be doing the Carrera Cup France round here at Mugello at the end of this month. Of course, a number of series coming here for the first time in just a few weeks. And of course, we ourselves back here for the first time in 5 years. In 2019 was the last time we came here. There you go, you can even hear some of the brakes squeaking there, getting all sorts of noises from the cars today. But now, depending on how quick this safety car lap is, we're going to be very tight on time. Might be a one-lap sprint to the finish. We'll see. Just 2 minutes left on the clock. We will see if we do manage to get going again. See, the cars are making their way up towards Sant'Anato. This could well be, well, the last lap was 4 minutes for Francesco Azzori, but that might have been more to try and back the pack up a little bit. So if this could be a slightly more rapid lap under safety car speed, I know that sounds counterintuitive, and we might just squeeze one more lap in. The Audi is just about to disappear behind one of the barriers. It is looking likely that this will be the last lap. Now, maybe this is going to shed some light on what happened to the Audi. Car 83, which is the Race Activity Charles-Henri Simani Renault, has been given a time penalty, a 30-second time penalty for unsafe behavior on the track. I wonder if Simani was trying to lap the Audi and ended up making contact with Pierre Aru, and has been given a drive-through penalty that has been converted into a 30-second time penalty because he won't be able to serve that penalty before the end of the race. That is pure speculation, but if the jigsaw piece fits, then that is generally the way of things. So that is top theory at the moment as to how Pierre Aru ended up parked up outside of the road at Scarperia corner. See that car still just outside of the exit, so we are going to end under safety car conditions by the looks of it, as the cars are only just making their way towards Correntau, and we have 5 seconds left on the clock. And so even though his lead gap was eradicated, it didn't do much in the end, and that's the car that is going to end up being penalised. Then, well, a 30-second penalty is actually going to drop him to basically last. It would, at the moment, it would drop him to 11th position because we're under safety car conditions, and so the runners are all packed up. So Charles-Henri Simani is about to plummet down the order here as a result of that time penalty for unsafe behaviour. Of course, there'll be no overtaking up towards the start-finish line, even though the safety car has peeled into pit lane. But it is Francesco Azzori who greets the checkered flag for his 5th victory of the season in Ultimate Cup Series competition. His 100% record is maintained across the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup and Trofeo GTS. It's race 1 victory in Trofeo GTS in Mugello. Charles-Henri Simani was 2nd across the line, but Olivier Morahan will be promoted to 2nd position in the JRM Racing Corvette, with Lyle Schofield on the overall podium and victory in the UCS3 category ahead of Frédéric Lacour and Francesco Coissan, who are 3rd, 4th and 5th over the line. And, of course, now the Porsche Cup victory going to Eric Debard as a result of Carl van der Westen's silver class penalty. Again, ending under safety car conditions, not doing him any favours at all because his advantage that he normally builds up has been eradicated. So that gives the Carrera Cup France race victory there. Let's have a look at the overall results then. So Francesco Azzori, it's 5 from 5 ahead of Olivier Morahan. The Lyle Schofield taking the UCS3 victory for SRNR, with Racing Spirit of Le Mans splitting the 2 teammates. Eric Debard, the Porsche Cup victor, ahead of Lionel Rigal for the GP Racing team. Patrick Michelier, 4th of the UCS3 runners. And Hugh van der Westen, the father of the van der Westen brothers, is 3rd of the Porsche Cup runners. Charles-Henri Simani, 11th across the line in the end. And then we have Andrei Spiritos as the sole remaining UCS4 car in the Porsche Cayman from the drive-in team. But Francesco Azzori has pulled into pit lane. Wow. Charles-Henri Simani still thinks he finished 2nd, actually. Is not quite the case on the final timing order, but Francesco Azzori celebrates 5 from 5 in Ultimate Cup Series competition. Yeah, thumbs up from the Italian as he wins on home soil. The Italian in the Italian team, driving the Italian car. He will still shake hands with Zamani, even though on the timing order hasn't actually finished second. Wonders if he's actually been told about that penalty, actually. Lyle Schofield will join them on the overall podium as well. Just see him in the background there. And it's another UCS3 victory for the Irishman. Going on top of the one he secured in Portimao in the Trofeo GTS race. There it looks like Claire Cottingham has just about found our race winner.
I have indeed found our race winner. Home soil as well. You must be pretty pleased with that one.
It's very beautiful sensation to win at home, and I was thinking before the race it's most hard because the Megane it's very faster than us, but the driver is faster, very fast, and a great driver, but we can do all our better.
You had a lot thrown at you as well. We had a safety car restart, and your restart was incredible.
Yes, I study when I stay at turn 13. I was thinking what was it the best thing to go faster, and I think this little point of braking at the center of the corner, then full throttle.
Are you local to this area? Is Mugello near to where you live?
Yeah, I live in Rome, so 3 hours from here.
It's not that close. Rome is quite far.
Close.
But it must be so nice. How important is it to do in front of your home crowd?
Probably the most important victory in this season.
This season, well, we've got plenty more to go. Can we keep up this streak?
Can you repeat?
Can you keep up this winning streak?
Yes, we hope to close the championship here, so we can try to do our better. So also tomorrow.
Well, you're doing it in style so far. Go to the podium. Go enjoy the celebration.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, it looks like I think we are done from down here in Parc Fermé as well. We, of course, are going to be back tomorrow. We've got more racing to come. Sunday as well, we've got the endurance and the prototype to come. So do make sure you join us for those, because they're 4 hours each. And there's 2 dogs down here. I'm actually very excited by the fact that we have some dogs as well. Down there, 2 dogs. I'm absolutely elated by the fact we've got 2 dogs. So I think it's time for, oh, there's 3 dogs. There's another dog. I'm obsessed with the dogs. I think it's time to say goodbye from Mugello for tonight, though. We will be back tomorrow nice and early as well. Make sure you join us just before 9 a.m. local time. We'll be right here in Mugello. We hope to see you there.
Let's get it. we gonna roll, roll,